Hi, this is Tom Painter. Welcome to Money Made Easy for Teens. This is a playbook to help you teach your kids and teens about money in a very fun way. Now, after you've completed the teen webinar, try to advance to the next webinars, which is the young adults and adults ones, and also start using the money trackers. This is a time when some of the kids might be getting debit cards and it might be a little bit more difficult to track. Now, it doesn't matter if you track and spend money with cash or on a credit card or on a debit card, you're still spending it. So we're still going to use the same systems to be able to track it. Now, in order to do this, there's a couple ways that you can do it. And I find that when kids get to be teens, that the jars don't quite work as well for them, but the envelopes do. And there's two ways that you can do the envelopes. Number one, if you can simply get an 8x10 envelope and then get four 4x9 envelopes. This will be the system we're going to use. If you can only give your child one thing, money or knowledge, which would you give them? And most people will say knowledge, of course. Now, if we can take that knowledge and give them an experience, then you've got a truly winning combination. So that's our goal, is to give them knowledge and experience and then teach them the habit of being able to manage their money. Now, every one of your kids, teens, young adults, are going to make and spend $1 million in their lifetime. If you look at all the money that comes into your life, a minimum wage job is over $1 million over a lifetime. And you're going to spend that money as well. Now, most people are going to die broke and in debt. There are people that have made hundreds of millions of dollars that have been into bankruptcy. Our goal is to be able to teach you a very fun system that will make a very big difference in your life. Now, if you do it this way, I want you to get an 8x10 envelope, and then inside that envelope, I want you to get four 4x9 envelopes. And then on each envelope, I want you to write. On one, I want you to write make money. Number two, I want you to be able to write church and charity. Number three, I want you to write save and invest. And on the fourth one, I want you to write spend. Now, some people also like to get envelopes like this. These are great envelopes to be able to use. You can use a plastic envelope or a regular envelope. The system works the same no matter which one you use. Okay. Now, again, you're going to have four separate things: make money, charity, save and invest, and spend the rest. Now, many people, in order to be able to really teach this in a fun way, I'd like you to go to the bank and literally get $50 in $1 bills. Now, you can use other things. You can use quarters, you can use pennies, but if you really want to have a real big impact, I suggest you go get $50 in cash. For many kids, that's more money than they've seen in cash. And so go get $50 in cash. Now, we also have, for people to be able to download, a set of play money. And the play money has a question on one side and an answer on the other side. And you can use that as well to be able to teach your system. Again, we just need 50 of something. And I prefer dollar bills if you can arrange that. But again, it can be 50 pennies. It can be 50 of anything. And that's how we're going to add and go through the experience for this one. Now, there are 5 steps into the system. And there's also a certificate to be able to print out for them so that you can remind them of what those 5 steps are. So the first step, of course, is to make money. Step number 2 is to sort or separate your money on a monthly basis. Number 3 is we want to give some of it away, 10% to your church or charity, or some percentage, just give some of the money away. Number 4, we want you to save and invest, which means we want you to water your money trees. And then 5, we want to be able to spend the rest. The more money we get into number 4, the better you will be with your financial systems. So let's get started here. So now, if you could have 4 wishes to buy anything you want, what would you wish for? So think about that for a second. If you had 4 wishes to buy anything you want this year, what would you wish for? So I want you to get out your spend envelope and tracker, and let's list all the things that you would like to buy. So let's get out the spend envelope, and here it is right here. And so we're going to take that out, and we're going to write your name, what your goal is, what month it is, and let's list some things that you would like to spend your money on. You can always pause this recording until you do that, and then hit play again. Okay, but I want you to come up with 4 things that you would like to spend money on. Now, after you've done that, put it back into the envelope, and we're going to come back to it. Now, does money grow on trees? Have you ever heard that question? Does money grow on trees? Your parents say, what do you think? Money grows on trees? Well, actually, money does grow on trees, but you have to plant the right seed. So would you like to grow a money tree? Well, of course you would. So what kind of a seed would you use to grow a money tree? Now, if it's a money tree, you have to have a money seed. And I've been all over the world, and they use money to plant their trees. In America, we'd use a penny, but you can use a coin to plant your money tree. Now, if you didn't water your tree, would it grow? No, you have to water your tree on a monthly basis. Now, if this is a money tree, we need to water it with more money. So in this example, we're going to use dollar bills to water our money tree with each month. So we're going to plant a penny, and then every month we're going to water it, and it's going to grow and 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 grow until eventually it's a tree that produces a lot of money fruit. Now, would you like to have a tree that grows $1 million on it? Well, this is what it looks like. And again, every one of the kids that you know, everyone you walk down the street, when you see any population base, all those people are going to make and spend $1 million in their lifetime. Now, many people who have businesses will spend multiples of that. Many people, if they have a spouse that works, will go through $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 million in their lifetime. If you have businesses, it could be in the millions, the tens to the 20 millions of dollars that you have to manage in your lifetime. So you need to understand these 5 steps and be able to use them. And again, I want to thank my mentors. My friend Robert Allen is the one that really taught me about the money tree formula. And he's a fabulous author. And I suggest that you check out all of his books. But he's used the money tree, and he's the one that really taught me about the money tree. So now you need to water your tree. Now, how many dollars do you water your tree with each month? Well, there's 2 ways to be able to do it. One way is a financial formula. Another one is a percentage. So what we recommend that is you have money coming into your life into step number 1, which is to make money. Number 2 is we want to be able to separate that money. Number 3 is a goal or a target would be able to give 10% of that money away to the church or charities of your choice. Now, number 4, the goal would be to save and invest about 20% of that money. And then the one that's left is spend, which is 70%. So the more that you can get into section number 4, then the faster your trees will grow and the more trees that you'll actually have. But you know, there's actually a financial formula if you want to know how much you need to do in order to have $1 million. So it really kind of depends on your age of how much you have to do that you'll do every month until you're age 65. Now, this is a picture of some of my children. My oldest daughter is the one on the far right. My son has the hat on. He's the 3rd one back. And then all the way towards the end, I've got a couple more kids in there. I've got 5 children. But the little girl in the pink, that's my youngest on the very end, next to Jackson. That's little Brittany when she was 3. Now, all of the kids need a little bit different money because they're starting at a different age. And so the goal is to be able to get as much money into that investment account as possible. But here's an example. You can see that kids that have different age have to put a different amount away in order to have $1 million at age 65 because they don't have as many years for it to compound. So let's take this example here. So let's find your age on here. Okay, and then now this is assuming a 10% return, which means that your investments are growing at 10% a year. Now, some people say that's an awful lot. That's very aggressive to have your money compounding at 10%. And what we're looking at is the S&P 500 over a long period of time. It is compounded about 10%. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, has done that. Now, some years it goes up, some years it goes down. I can't guarantee you where it's going. This is just for an example to be able to teach you how it works. Now, many people are also saying, well, I don't make that much money. I don't have that much to put in an investment account. And so we ask them, is there someone that you can work with, a parent or grandparent, that would match it? Now, in all the years that I've taught this, I've never had a parent say no or a grandparent say no. If the person makes the money, they give some away, they save and invest, in many cases, the parents will match part of it or all of it, or the grandparents. Now, it doesn't matter if they do or they don't. It's still your responsibility to make it work. But in this case, let's take a number of where you're at. Now, as you can see, when you look at the different ages, someone down at the very bottom left-hand corner who's 15 years of age only needs $58 a month. Now, again, this is assuming a very aggressive rate of return. It's not all about having $1 million. It's about creating a habit and having the experience and the knowledge to do this and making it happen every month. What's most important is that you learn how to manage that by experience. It's not that you have $1 million, but that's an easy number for us to be able to get to. The other problem is that $1 million when you get to be age 65 is not going to be worth that much money. So this is just really kind of an example of what you would need. The goal is to be able to take 20% of your revenue, your income on a monthly basis, and put it away for long-term saving and investing. Now there's 5 steps to growing your money tree. Step number 1 is to make money. And again, all of you are going to make and spend $1 million in your lifetime. And many of you will do 2, 3, 4, 5, $10 million. So step number 1 is to make money. Step number 2 is we want to sort that money or separate it or determine where we want it to go. So we're going to actually assign it to one of the next 3 steps. Number 3 is to give some of it away. Give 10% to the church or charity of your choice. We don't care where you give the money away. My wife and I have donated to about 36 different charities that we have been involved in. And whatever is passionate for you that you can make a difference in, that's what we think that you should give it to. Give it to the church that you believe in, Humanitarian Aid. Charity Vision is a wonderful charity that we work with. But there's many charities, and you've got to decide what's important to you. But the goal is to be able to give some of it away. And we believe that if you do give some of it away, that it'll naturally come back to you. It's a spiritual law that we believe in, but it's also a law that just works. The people that are giving are the ones that usually get back. And so this is the way that you're going to have fulfillment in your life. So that's step number 3, is to give to charity or the church of your choice. Number 4 is we need to save and invest, which means that we really want to water our money tree. Now, step number 5 is we get to spend the rest. Now, you don't have to really spend the rest, but the more money you can put into section number 4, the better you're at. But one of the challenges people get into is they make money and they spend everything that comes in. Worse than that is that they make money and then they put that on a credit card. They get a credit card when they're very young and they start spending money on a credit card. They don't have enough money to pay it on a monthly basis. And as a result, then they get eaten alive by the credit card interest. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So step number 1 is to make money. So I want you to be able to get out your make money tracker. And again, this is the yellow one. You should be able to go online and be able to pull up our website where you can print this. But really, it's very simple. It looks very simple like this. You can make one at home. And the tracker is basically like a thermometer. And so the first thing is that we're going to come up with all the different ways that we can make money. And so we're going to take a few minutes and write down the 4 different ways that you can make money. Write your name by it, what your goal is for the month, and fill all that out. And again, hit pause on this tutorial and fill all out right now, and then come back and we'll resume in a second for you. But again, fill out those 4 areas where you can make money. Now, in this example, we're going to use $50 in cash because it'll be easy for me to be able to teach you that system. And again, if you go to the bank and get $50 in real dollars, then that's ideal to be able to use, okay? Now, in this example, we're gonna make money in the month of January, and then we're going to sort it or separate it in the month, at the end of the month or the 1st of February, and then we're going to put it into the different accounts to be able to spend in February. So our first job we do is a babysitting job, and we earn $10. And so if you get out your tracker like this, then let's say that you made $10. We're going to color the thermometer up to 10, and we're literally going to take $10 and we're going to put it into the make money envelope. And again, that can be plastic or it can be a paper envelope. Let's say we do another job and we make another $10. Okay, so we're going to take another $10 here, and it's going to go into the bank as well. We do another job and we make another $5. And it goes into our envelope. And right now, if you simply look at our envelope, it'll show you that we're up to $25. If you count the money, you'll see that you have $25 in there. And it's about being accountable for your money. When I was very young, my dad taught me about being accountable for the money that I was making. And this is, my dad passed away last year, but going through some of his things, I found this great index card that where he helped me keep track of the money that I made. I worked at a truck stop, and the money that I made, I needed to record how much money I made, and then each paycheck I would add that on there. Also, it showed the interest amount that I got paid by putting that money to work for me. And there's the first $100 that I made. It was in 1974. And there's the 38 cents that I made in interest. Now, the 38 cents isn't important. What's important was that my dad taught me the information. He gave me the knowledge, but more importantly, we did it. We put it down on an index card where I could keep track of it, and he made it very real for me. Okay, so in this example, we're up to $25. Let's do another job, and that gets us another $10. And again, right now, if you see your tracker, we'll be up to about $35. Let's go do another job. And we made another $10. That goes into our tracker as well. And right now on our envelope, we're up to $45. Now the next job we do is we make another $5. That puts us up to $50. If you look at our tracker, that tells you how much money we have in the bank. We have $50 in there. So that's step number one. Now at the end of the month, first of the month, or the next month, we want to separate it or sort it and decide where we want that money to go. So this is a picture of my kids where we're sorting the money, we're separating it, we're counting it, we're determining where we want that money to go. It's not about the money, it's about the habit, and it's about the knowledge, and it's about executing and actually playing with money that's going to make a huge difference. And I remember as I got my first monies, it became real to me after that. Before that, it was just talk, but when you actually pull it out and play with it, that's why it's so important to be able to do that. Now, the third step is you need to give some to your church and charity of your choice. And I'm also going to show you and tell you about a lady now my mom and dad taught us about charity and giving money to the church and things like that, which was awesome. But there was a lady in my neighborhood. She was the elementary librarian. And when I was in around 5th grade, she gave all of us kids a bank. And inside that bank, she gave us $2 to help us start saving to go to the university. And she also did something else. She gave us 22 cents. She gave us 22 cents for us to give away. Now that was pretty impactful because that was an outside source that had given me money to help me start my saving for university. But also she gave me some money that I was supposed to give away to the church or a charity of my choice. And a few years ago, I was going through some old stuff, and we found this envelope that she had written on there, and that she put that money in there. So she taught me about charity. And what's really nice and neat about this is that throughout your lifetime, once you know these 5 steps, you simply add zeros. So she donated 22 cents to me, which wasn't very much. If you follow the Bible, you talk about the widow's mite. The widow's mite is a teeny tiny amount of money, but it was a lot of money to her. And this lady in my neighborhood, that was a lot of money to her. She was a widow. Her husband had passed away. She had very bad health, but she wanted to do something different for the kids, and so she gave us that money. Now, since that time, in my lifetime, we've added zeros to making money. We've had great businesses. And we've also given away a lot of money too, where we continue to add zeros, but it's the same 5 steps that we're using. So in this example, we want to give away 10% to the church or charity of our choice. So I want you to be able to get out your bank. Now, if I ask you, would you be willing to give some of that money to others that need it? The vast majority of people say yes, that they would. And that's really crucial because making money is great. Giving it away is actually even funner than making it. Okay, so now this is a friend of mine, JJ Bright, and he did 100 bikes. His mom and dad were investors, and he was taught about investing at a very young age. With the help of his mom and dad and some other members of the community, they actually bought 100 bikes and put it at the Salvation Angel Tree for kids for Christmas. And what was amazing is that the next year they did 200. And so he was really an enlightened millionaire in the making. Now, so I want you to do the next piece. Let's get out our charity tracker. Okay, here's our charity one right here. And we've made $50. So in this case, since we've made $50, we want to give away 10% of that. Now, there's a couple ways to be able to figure out what 10% of that is. Number one is we can put them in groups of 10, piles of 10. And you can see there's 5 piles of 10. And we're going to take one of each of those piles and give it to charity, which would be $5. The other way to do it is take the number 50, cross off the last digit, which is a 0, which leaves $5 for charity. So we're going to literally take $5 out of off the table from there, and we're going to put it into our charity bank, and then we're going to give that money away to the church or charity of your choice. Okay. Now the next piece, and we're going to keep track of it too. So there's a place on there where you can write the month down and how much money that you gave away. So in order to really understand it, we want to create a system and actually do it. Now step number 4 is to save and invest. And there's 2 pieces of that. One is to start saving, but number 2 is to investing. And in this example, let's say that you are 15 years of age and you need $58 a month. Now that's quite a bit of money for a 15-year-old. And so we have set up a system where we want to ask someone to give you a hand with that, because you could probably use some help. And so many of our students ask their parents or their grandparents or some kind of a mentor to pay half of it. Now, if they do, great. If they don't, that's okay too. It's your responsibility to be able to make the money. It's your future that you are doing this for. But as I've asked parents and grandparents, I've never seen one of them that has said no, as long as the person made the money and they gave some of it away. They saved and invested, and the mentor, the parent, the grandparent usually will help with that. So in this example, let's say there was $58 on a 15-year-old, and so they would do $29, and the parent would match that other $29. Okay. Now, if you don't save and invest, your parents are not going to match it. So it's important that you put that money away. It's your responsibility, not your parents or grandparents, to do that. It's your responsibility to do that. Now, in this example, we're going to take $29 from our $50, and we're going to put that into our save and our invest account here. And again, with the help of our parents or our grandparents or someone else, they're going to actually double that. The key, again, is to create a system to actually start doing it. Not talking about it, not having the knowledge about it, but actually pulling the trigger and making it happen. So we're going to put $29 into our investment account envelope, and then we're going to get our parents or grandparents to match that. So you can see there it is, 29 plus 29 equals that $58. Now you need to invest in yourself. This is really crucial. And I'm going to give you an example of a 17-year-old boy named Ryan, and he invests $70 a month. Now he's getting some help with his parents and grandparents, and in this example, we're going to use a 10% return. And again, long-term, stock goes up, stock goes down. I can't tell you where it's going to be tomorrow. I can't tell you where it's going to be next year, but I know 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to be a lot more expensive than it is today. 20 years ago, the stock market was a lot more expensive than it is today. And stocks are going to continue to go up because of inflation. If you own things that go up in value, we call it appreciation because we appreciate it. So in this example, we put $70 a month away. And you can see right there on our tracker, we're going to track that every month with $70. Now, if you were to build a spreadsheet and calculate how much money you would have, you can see that as he starts, he's starting with 0. But every month we're putting in more money, $70 a month. It starts to make interest or it appreciates in value if it's stock. And by the time he's age 65, he has over $1 million. Now you can see this is what it looks like on a chart. You can see when you get started, it's very small, very, very small. But over the years, it starts to climb and climb and climb and climb and climb until it gets very, very big in the later years. That's why it's so important to plant a money tree at a young age, and then more importantly, you've got to water it, you've got to take care of it, and you've got to make sure it happens. My mom and dad have 69 grand and great-grandchildren, and they've opened up an investment account for each of those kids, and they put money into it basically every month, and over the years, that has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. So they planted a money seed, and more importantly, they watered that money seed, and they've given those kids an experience to be able to also do the same. So here's our example of anyone from age 1 to age 64. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you see somebody that's 15 years of age. They only need $58 a month because they have a long time for their trees to grow. Okay? They've got 50 years for those trees to grow and compound and go up, 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 and up, and up. Now, I'm 58 years of age, and as a 58-year-old, I need $8,200 a month because I have a very short time to get my trees to grow. So that's why it's so important that you start at a very young age and then add as much money as you can to it and then take care of those money trees so that they will continue to grow. Now, here's what we need to do to set up your investment account. Step 1 is to make money. Step 2 is to separate your money. Now, one of the greatest investors of all time is Warren Buffett. And of all the companies that they own with Berkshire Hathaway, His job is to take that money and decide where to send it. So that's his main job. He doesn't manage the companies. He doesn't do the sales. He just, as they make revenue and profits, then he decides where they want that money to go. But step one is to make it. Two is to separate your money. And the reason I'm going over this again and again, because it's the same 5 steps it is for Warren Buffett as it is for you. Now, step number 3 is to give it away. 4 is your save and invest, and 5 is to spend. So the crucial part of this is to take that money and get it into some kind of a savings account. Get that money into a savings account or a checking account, and then the most crucial part is to have it actually moved, taken out of that savings account of either your account or your parents' or grandparents' account every month, and move it over into another account where we're going to buy mutual funds. Okay, and a mutual fund is a group of companies, and you can own a little bit of a lot of companies. And in this case, we talk about the S&P 500, which are the 500 biggest companies in America, which are also some of the biggest companies in the world. So that's the S&P 500. And you can own a little bit of all those big companies. Okay? That's what a mutual fund is. But the key is to set this up so that it automatically happens. You make the decision once, you set it up into the account, you set it up with the bank, you tell them what you want it to do, and you say, every month I want this much money taken out of the savings account or checking account, and I want it automatically deposited over here into the long-term mutual funds, the S&P 500, or even the Berkshire Hathaway stock. Now let's watch how fast your money grows. Now I've got a question for you. If you could only have one thing, and you get to pick one of these two things, you get a penny every day. But a penny is going to double. So on the first day, it's 1 cent, and then it doubles to 2 cents, and then 4 cents, and then 8 cents. And we're going to do that for 40 days. Or you get $1,000 each day for 40 days. Now in 40 days, you'd have $40,000. Which would you choose? Now $1,000, you could buy a computer or stereo or something like that, but $1,000 a day for 40 days is $40,000. Which would you choose? The penny doubled or the $1,000 each day? Well, if you chose the penny on day number 5, you'd only have 16 cents. And you'd have $5,000 if you chose the $1,000 a day. But as you look over that time frame, in 23 days, you'd have $41,000 if you took that penny and doubled it. And again, we're talking about making your money make money. In this account, you'd have $41,000. $1,000 a day, you'd have $23,000, and you can see that the winner, of course, is the penny. Well, let's up the stakes a little bit. Let's say that you had a penny each day that you doubled for 40 days, or you could take $10,000 each day. Now, $10,000 would buy a small car, maybe a used car, and you could buy one of those every day for 40 days. So which of those would you choose? Now, the winner again is the penny because of the compounding event. Your money's making you money. And this example here, in the 26th day, that already has more money than the $10,000 a day. All right, well, let's make it even bigger. Let's say a penny a day or $100,000 a day for the next 40 days. Now, what could you buy with $100,000? Well, you could buy a used home, a smaller home, an older home in different parts of the country. Over 2 or 3 days, you could definitely buy a house. But you can either buy something with $100,000 a day for 40 days or a penny a day doubled. What are you going to choose? Pick one. All right, what the answer is? Actually, it's the penny again. You've got over $5 million on the 30th day, and we still have 10 more days. All right, how about $1 million a day? What would you rather have, $1 million a day each day for 40 days, or a penny each day for those 40 days? And again, the answer is the penny doubled because of the compounding effect. You'd have $5 billion versus $40 million. So that's why it's so important that you have your money make money and compound. Your money makes money that makes money that makes money. Okay? You'd have to have $137 million a day, each day for the next 40 days in order to be the equivalent of a penny doubled each day for 40 days. That's why it's so important that we start at a very young age. Now, I got a question for you. Get out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm going to give you a quiz. And let's see how well you do on your financial freedom quiz. So here's our question. If you put $1 a day in a piggy bank, okay, you're going to take $1 every day and put it into a piggy bank for 66 years. So the day you were born, your parents or someone else put $1 a day in a piggy bank. It's not making any interest. It's not growing. How much would you have? Okay, you've got about 7 seconds to pick one of those, A, B, C, or D. Mark that on your page. Which one are you going to have? $1 a day, $1 a day into a piggy bank for the next 66 years. Pick one. You got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is $24,000. You'd have $24,000 if you put $1 a day into a piggy bank, or if you put $1 a day in the bank and they didn't pay you any interest. It's just going in there with no rate of return. Now, if you took $1 a day and you put it into a savings account or a bond where you loaned money to someone and they paid you a 3% rate of return, or you invested it in something that we got a 3% rate of return, and you did that every day for 66 years, then how much would you have? And here's an example. If you had $100 and you got a 3% rate of return on it, which means 3% interest, $100 taken down to the bank, and if the bank said, we're going to pay you 3%, now they're not paying 3% right now, but if they did, or someone paid you 3%, at the end of the year, they would give you $3 in profit. $100 you started with plus 3% equals $3. So the grand total at the end of year one is that you would have $103 in there. Okay. So now, if we did that, if we took $1 a day and we put it into your savings account or some kind of investing account, and it grew at 3% a year for 66 years, how much would you have? Either $12,000, $75,000, $54,000, or $133,000. You got 7 seconds. Make up your mind, write down on a piece of paper your answer, and we'll see how well you did. 3 seconds. Pick your answer. The correct answer is B. At 3%, it turns into $75,000. So $1 a day at 3% rate of return equals $75,000. Now, how much would you have if you put $1 a day in the stock market and you got a 10% return? Now, the stock market is a place where you can invest your money and buy little bits of companies. Now, here's an example of McDonald's. I've eaten McDonald's all over the world. I'm very fascinated by their system. I don't really like their food, but they're everywhere. And it's a very interesting story. If you want to see a great movie, go see the movie The Founder. It's a great movie about McDonald's and how it was started and how Ray Kroc made it go all around the world. But McDonald's is owned by thousands and thousands of people, and you can own a little bit of McDonald's by buying a little bit of its stock. And it's owned by thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that own a little bit of McDonald's. And, you know, when you do that, when they make a profit, you make a little bit of that profit. Now, it's just tiny, it's minute. But as they make a profit, you make a little part of that profit. So in this example, we're going to say that you bought McDonald's stock and it went up 10% a year. So if you started at $100 and it went up 10%, that means it would be worth $110 at the end of the year. So using this example, this could be stock, this could be a loan, but somebody's going to pay you a 10%. It's going to increase at 10% value. So again, if you took $1 a day and you put it in the stock market, and it went up at a 10% annual return over the year, and you did that every day for 66 years, how much would you have when you were 66 years of age? A is 101,000, B is 275,000, C is 1.5 million, or D, $2.6 million. You have 7 seconds. Come up with your answer. Pick one. Here we go. And time's up. Write your number down. The correct answer is $2.6 million because it's compounding on itself. The money is making money at a faster rate. At 0%, you're making $24,000. At 3%, you're making $75,000. At 10%, you made $2.6 million. Here's your next question. How much would you owe if you charged $1 a day on a credit card? Now, credit cards have different interest rates, but in this example, we're going to use 21%. So every day, you're going to charge $1 on that credit card. So if you went to McDonald's every day, and instead of buying part of the company, we're going to buy a soft drink. And you're going to use a credit card to pay for it, and they're going to charge you 21% per year. So again, Now, when you put this money on a credit card, they charge you interest. And if you borrowed $100 and you pay it back over time, you're going to have to pay an extra $21 a year. So in this example, again, if you had $100 and you borrowed at 21%, at the end of the year, you'd have to pay the bank an additional $21. That's their profit. So you'd owe them $121. So in this example, how much would you owe if you charged $1 a day on your credit card? Now, if you didn't make any payments on it, they're going to change your rate from 21% to 29% or even 36%. And it's going to be more expensive every month. But if you charged $1 a day on a credit card over 66 years at 21%, how much would you owe the bank? There's 6.8 million, there's 24 million, 156 million, or $1,611 million. You have 7 seconds. Why don't you come up with your answer? 3 seconds. The correct answer is at 21%, you'd owe $1,611 million because it's compounding. It's getting bigger on itself. 0% is 24,000, 3% 75,000, 10% is 2.6 million, and 21% is $1.6 billion. Now, what's amazing is that if you have a savings account, and in that savings account you had $1,000 and the bank is paying you basically zero for that, and you borrow $1,000 from the bank on a credit card, and the bank is charging you 21% interest to use that credit card if you don't pay the payment, if you don't pay it off every month. And what's amazing is that the bank took the money out of your savings account and reloaned it to you at 21%. That's where they got the money. They took your savings, which they're paying you nothing, and they loaned it back to you at 21% for the convenience of using a credit card. Okay, so that's really kind of funny when you think of it that way. Now let's talk about consumer debt for a second. Now, would you like to buy a new computer? Here's an advertisement for a computer for $1,000, and they say, it's only $27 a month in this example. Now, there's 2 ways to pay. Number one is that you can use cash. You can save up for it, and you can have cash. You can write them a check. Cash is a 4-letter word, C-A-S-H, but I recommend that you use that instead of getting into credit card debt. Now, here's $1,000 in cash. You can do that, or you can put it on a credit card for 21%. And hey, the payment's only $21 a month. So here's the problem. At the end of the 4th year, your credit card still owes. You still owe $771 on your credit card. The problem is that the computer is outdated and it's in the garbage. The computer's really not any good any longer. After 4 years, it's outdated and in the garbage, and you still owe $771. That's why we do not recommend that you get into credit card debt. So now look at this. After 10 years of payments at that 21% rate, you will have paid $1,374 in interest. So that computer didn't cost you $1,000. It really cost you $2,374. That's the challenge with borrowing money and paying a lot of interest. Now, if you wanted your tree with more money, would it grow faster? Well, of course it would. So what do you spend money on that you don't really need? Now, again, every one of you is going to make and spend $1 million in your lifetime. You're going to have that much money come through your fingertips. So we want to start looking where you spend your money. Now, I don't care where you spend it, it's gone. There's things that you spend it on that you probably don't need. Our goal is to get as much money into step number 4 versus step number 5. Now, instead of spending that money, what if we could take that money and this time we're going to not spend it, but we're going to put it into our saving and investing account. Here's an example of things like that. $10 a month, which is $120 a year. Instead of spending that money, and I don't care where you spend it, it doesn't matter, it's gone. There's a lot of bad habits that we could avoid, but whatever you spend it on, it's gone. And so if we did that same $10 a month, and we did that for 50 years, so basically you're starting at age 15, at age 65, that extra money, if you would have taken that money from the spend account, put it into the save and invest account, got a 10% return on it, that would be an additional $173,000 into your account. If you took $50 a month, that's $866,000, and $100 a month is $1.7 million. So there's a lot of things that you spend money on that you probably should give up. I had a young man that came to me that I own a lot of real estate, and he was doing some work for me. and he was smoking. I could smell it. He was smoking. And I said, do you realize how much this is really costing you? Not only is it hurting your health, it's really ruining your health, but number two is that it's hurting your wealth. So we figured out how much his cigarettes were costing him every month, and it was well over $100. And he was a young man. We figured out that, and then we figured out how much that was going to cost him over a lifetime. That smoking habit cost him over $1.7 million. And so again, I don't care where the money's going, but there's usually some bad habits that we can get away from. Instead of spending that money, let's see if we can put it into our saving and investing and make it grow for us. Now, step number 5 is to spend the rest. Now, in this example, we started out with the $50, and we're going to do something. We're going to take $20 out so everybody can be on the same page. And this is how we spend our money. So let's take our $20 out, and it's going to go into our spend account right there. Now, we do something also kind of fun is that we also have a little envelope we put in there in the spend account where we can actually save up for stuff that we want to spend on. So step number 4 is to save and invest. Step number 5 is to spend. Now, once the money's in spend, we also have a little envelope in our spend account for if we want to save up for a bigger item, we can put it in there. But in this account, we have, for this example, we got $20 in there. And so everybody pull out $20 of their cash that we're using, and let's take them through that. So we're going to mark $20 on your account. So in this is a little bit differently. Our thermometer is going to go down versus up. And so let's say we're starting the first of the month and we had $20 in there, cross off everything else, circle the number 20 because that's where we're starting. And we go to a movie and spend $5. You take out that $5, it's just gone. We spend it on the movie, it's gone. And your tracker now shows that you only have $15 left. Let's spend another $5 on fast food. That goes down another $5. Now we have $10 into the account. Let's spend another $5 on something else, sodas, whatever it is. That's $5. It's out. We mark it onto our trackers, and now we're down to $5. And then, of course, we spend the last $5, and now we're down to 0. Now, what's nice about this is that if you had $100 in that account, you'd probably spend $100. That's what we find in human nature, that you'll spend as much as you have. Money's a game. We want to have fun with the money, but it's a game, and your goal is to figure out how to be able to live on how much cash that you have available instead of the other way around. So if you make money, you separate it, we give some away, we save and invest, and you spend the rest. That money we have fun spending, let's make a game of it. Let's have some fun with it to see how much stuff we can get for the amount of money that we have available. Okay, so there's the 5 steps. We're going to make it, separate it, give it to church and charity, water our money tree, which is our save and invest, and then spend the rest. Now, there's a little certificate that is available for you that you can write that down. You can sign it. You can have your mentor sign it. And again, if you do this stuff, it will make a huge difference in your life. You already are an enlightened millionaire in the making. If you give some of your money away, that will truly change your life. Again, this is Tom Painter. Thank you for joining with us, and we'll see you on the next program. We're going to get into the next one is for young adults and adults, and we're going to get into more and more complicated. We're just going to add more and more layers to our program. Anyway, also one of the goals is for you to share this. Your goal is to be able to share this information with other people. Train them, teach them, help them. I ask that you don't sell it, but I do think that you can give it away. Okay, this is Tom Painter. Thank you for being in our class, and we'll see you later.